All right, so today we're going to start with lesson 10-2, congruent triangles. So go ahead and write that title down and put today's date and we'll move forward. Congruent triangles. Naming corresponding parts. Okay, so here when we have to name corresponding parts in the congruent triangles, you basically look at these and you see there's one line here, two lines here, two lines here. 3 lines here, 3 lines here. So how are they congruent? Well, it says triangle HGI is congruent to, that means it's congruent to what? It's obviously going to be congruent to something over here. You'll notice the H has 1, so the D goes where the H is. So it's going to be D. Now we look for the G. G has 2 and so does E. So it's going to be D, E, F. And watch how they do this, okay? So the corresponding angles, if you had to write them down, angle D corresponds to H, they both have 1 line, E to G, 2 lines, and F to I, 3 lines. The corresponding sides would be DE with HG, DF with HI, okay? And you're looking at the angles to see the lines there, all right? So, and then EF with GI. All right, and so the congruent statement would be triangle HGI is congruent to DEF, okay? All in the same places. Now it's your turn. You're gonna have to figure out triangle ABC. You have to name the corresponding parts. So name the corresponding angles, the corresponding sides, and then complete the congruent statement. Triangle ABC is congruent to triangle whatever it is, okay? Go ahead and hit pause, solve this, and then check to see with your answer, which I'm going to bring up in a moment. What you should have found was A is congruent to D, B is congruent to F, C is congruent to E. Line AB is congruent to DF. Line BC is congruent to line FE, and line CA is congruent to line segment ED. They're called line segments, not lines actually. And so therefore the congruent statement would be triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DFE. Okay? Example number 2. You have to complete the congruent statement. If you know that triangle MNO is congruent to triangle QPR, then angle M is going to be congruent to, it's in the same place, Q. QP is going to be congruent to QP, MN. Angle P is going to be congruent to N. NO, NO at the end, PR, and so on. And so that's how you find your answers, okay? So have a look and see. And so M, N, and Q. You notice that these are in the same places, and P is in the same place, and O and R is in the same place. So that's how we have to make sure that we get those answers. Like I said, here they are. Q and M, so there we go. Angle P is corresponds to angle N, and so on. M corresponds to Q and N corresponds to P, so MN, QP, which I showed you earlier already. So you should see that all the things that correspond are the ones that go alongside with each other. They match up. And then if you have to draw the triangles using arcs and slash marks to show the congruent angles and sides, this is how it would look like. Okay, M is congruent to Q, so that's 1 line. Okay, but 1 arc. And then we have O and R have arcs together. And then we have N and P. Now, since N has 3 and this has 1, 3 and 1, these are going to be congruent, right? And then we draw 1 line to show that they're congruent. Next, we're going to use 2 lines to show that these 2 are congruent. And then we're going to use 3 lines to show the last one is congruent. And that's how you would draw that out with slash marks and arcs. Now it's your turn. Go ahead and complete it using this information. Write this down and solve it, and we'll go from there. All right, you can hit pause now, do it. Make sure you know how to do it, understand it, and then you can come back and check your answers. And here are the answers. Okay. Angle A with angle D, angle E with angle B, angle C with angle F, then EF with BC, BC with EF, and AC with DF. Here's example 3. So now a brace, example 3A. A brace is used to support a tabletop in the figure. Okay, we have triangle ABC, and DEF. These right here obviously are corresponding angles, right? We have a 50 degrees here and we have 2 feet here. And they're asking for angle F. What is the measure of angle F? Okay, so what we have to do is understand that F and C, these two are corresponding angles, okay? And since they're congruent, if this is 50 degrees, that is 50 degrees as well. Okay, so the answer is 50 degrees. Now I have a funny feeling they're going to ask you about this angle. And remember, triangles, the 3 angles, add up to 180 degrees. So we have 90 plus 50 is 140. I wonder what that's going to be. Let's find out. Okay, here they're asking for the length of DF. Okay, DF is right here. Its corresponding side is right here. So obviously, if they correspond to each other, it will be 2 feet. And now it's your turn. You get to do this one. In the figure, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. As soon as it says that, you can find your answers. They want to know the measurement of angle B, and they want to know the length of EF. All right? So go ahead and write that down, hit pause, find your answer, see if you know what you're doing, and then I'll bring the answers up in a moment. So what is the measurement of triangle or angle B? The answer is 44 degrees, just like angle E. And what is the length of EF? Just like BC, 22 inches. And that is the end of lesson 10-2.